Where's that treasure map?
Arg, what's up everybody? It's a Pirate Stacker and it is Sunday. And it is Prepping with Pirates Sundays. It's good to see you guys today. Thanks for coming out. And it is a wet Florida afternoon. Yes. We have one of those days happening right now. And it's beautiful, but it's been thunder and lightning. And this is all pretty typical for us here in Florida. We're used to it. We get a lot of bad weather, and you know, when we're prepping, when we're talking about being prepared, we really want to be prepared for this bad weather. You know, so for us here in Florida, we get hurricanes, we deal with power outages. So our idea of being prepared includes things like generators. You know, we get hurricanes that roll through. We lost power for 9 days. If you don't have power for 9 days in the middle of summer in Florida, that is a tough way to go. So for us, we like to have that stuff and be prepared. And so every little thing you can do to help make that more comfortable, and you'll realize it really quickly. You know, so for us, we have a generator. We have a window AC unit that can plug into the generator, so that we have, you know, air conditioning in the summer. But a lot of basics that you can have that are going to help you along the way. Some of the most important things: a weather radio. Now this, if you're in the south where you get tornadoes, things like that. Thunder. Yes. Thunder and lightning, you know, this is what happens. These are these storms we get. So a weather radio is a fantastic piece of equipment. Now we have these radios. Now I have a bunch of Ryobi tools, and part of getting all the Ryobi tools were they have these interchangeable battery packs. So the cool thing is, before a storm comes, I charge up all the batteries, and I mean, one of these battery packs will run this radio for a good 8 hours. So I charge up all the battery packs. I have about 6 of them, and that gives me a lot of power, and not only for my radio, but my tools as well, you know, my cordless drill and such as that. And of course, you know, tools in general, you don't know what's coming, what's going. Oh, wipeout. You know, I got a chainsaw. I got some of that other stuff. Why? Well, from experience. You're out here, when the wind's blowing hard and we're getting stormy weather in, one of the very first things is trees get toppled and you can't get out or go places. You know, that's a big deal. Also, any kind of lanterns. You know, this one is just one of many. I've got loads of lanterns, flashlights, things of that nature. This one's crazy. But that stuff's important to feeling comfortable, feeling safe. Now, any kind of tool, whether it's hammers, whether it's a machete. I'm here trying to make a mess here. You know me, I just throw stuff together. This stuff all comes in handy. And now granted, if you live in an apartment, I know it's tough to prep that kind of stuff. You know, for me, I have a home. I've got a garage that I can store all my stuff in. But it really is about doing what you can do to be prepared. And, you know, as you go through things, nothing teaches you like experience, but also the prepared of the unknown. So that's a little harder deal. But if you've been through any of this stuff, power outages and such, you know, some of the big things you want to take care of, you know, cooking sources and heat. This is just a little camp stove. It's no big deal, but I have fuel source. You know, you have a couple of these. That's helpful. If you are in a house with an electric stove and the power's out for a week, you're gonna need another way to cook. Now, the most handy dandy of all is your barbecue, right? I grill a lot. So having a full propane tank for your grill, priceless, because you can cook on that a whole bunch of meals. So, you know, that's an awesome thing. So That's what we're talking about. Now, if we're looking for prepping strategy, for me personally, number 1 is water, number 2 is food. Okay, so water and food. That's 1 and 2. Next would be shelter. You know, most of us have a place. Is that someplace you can stay? Do you have, in case a window gets blown out, do you have a tarp or 2 handy that you could patch that up? Do you have duct tape that you could tape a tarp or something up, or staples? You know, things like that. So shelter's big. Obviously, defense for me is valuable. Either you like guns or you don't. You have one or you don't. If you don't, I certainly would encourage you to have a bat or something of that nature, because defending what you have is a very real thing, especially if you live somewhere like Florida, where we got some 23 million people. So, you know, be aware of that. But once you get past your food, water, shelter, then we're talking about prepping the other things that can help you for any kind of long-term survival. And these may just be comfort items. Batteries for flashlights. Look, when it's dark and there's no power, it's awful nice to have a flashlight. It's really nice to have candles. They come into play. You know, that stuff is nice, not only for having, you know, the value of light, but for your mental ability. Mentally, it is a win to be able to have light in the darkness, you know? So that's something to be aware of. And then when I talk about tools, when I talk about radios, you know, these preparedness options, and then we've got, you know, cooking and heat and alternative fuel sources. Once you can get that nailed down, once you start getting those things covered, then we talk about redundancy. And redundancy, what does that mean in a preparedness situation? Redundancy is, if this thing fails, what do I have for a backup? No problem. Guess what? I have this thing. I have a redundancy. I have my first choice, my weather radio, plugs into the wall, works great. It also takes batteries, that's fantastic. Redundancy, I have this radio, also works great. Lots of chargeable battery packs, that's excellent. Electricity goes out in my house, no problem. What do I got? Well, number 1 cooking source and heat, my barbecue. Fantastic spot. Propane is cheap. It works great for either cooking or heat, both. Now make sure you do that outside, of course. But redundancy, I have another option, another cooking source, another source of fuel for it. That's redundancy. You know, I have a machete. Machete's great. What's better? A chainsaw. Chainsaw's even better. So again, if you don't have any of this stuff, it's not the end of the world. Get one small thing a month. You know, if that's all you can do, take care of your food and water situation. To me, that's number 1. Number 1 always. Anything you can do to keep your shelter safe, that's a big thing for me as well. Home defense, tarps, a bat, whatever. And then you get into your comforts, you know, comforts of living. And once you've got one, think about what you can do for a backup. Now look, this doesn't mean I'm always going to use this. Guess what? I have family members that think I'm crazy. I have family members that are like, Tom, why do you have that stuff? Well, the whole reason is I have it for me, but I also have it for them. So first and foremost is me and my immediate family, but secondly is my extended family and my best friends. And if they weren't prepared, if they didn't have a barbecue and they had no power or heat, guess what? I can give them that. I can loan them that with some fuel to help them out. So these things are wonderful if you're in a position. And you know, I've been prepping for a while. I'm older. I think most of us older guys, you go through a few experiences, you learn as you go. And it's one of those things. You just, you know, it is what it is. But you gain and you gather over time. Look, this stuff is expensive. I don't propose anybody runs out and drops $1,000 today. But set aside 50 bucks. Set aside 25 bucks and go get something that can be a valuable asset in a given situation. Because trust me, they will come. They have come. I've experienced them myself, and at some point in time, you will be affected too. Be prepared, you guys. I was a Boy Scout. Be prepared means exactly what it sounds like. You know, be prepared for the scenarios you've seen, but be prepared for the things that could happen that you haven't seen yet. And if you're in a position, I take all of this to me is more important than stacking silver and gold. If I did not have these things, I would be getting these over buying silver and gold. And that's just my priority, because the comfort of my family and their safety is number one. Storing value comes second to all of that. So that's it for me today, you guys. That's prepping with Pirate. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you gained something out of it. Thanks for joining me on this rainy Sunday. And that's going to do it for the Pirate. We'll see you all tomorrow. Alternative Metal Mondays coming at you. Have a great day, you guys. Pirate out.